you guys, so today's video is going to be a tutorial on this everyday look that I'm wearing right now. This is literally what I wear on a day-to-day basis when I'm not doing anything for Instagram or YouTube. I either wear no makeup at all or I'll wear makeup like this. I was looking through my tutorials this morning and I realized that I haven't done a neutral one in a long time. So I wanted to do like an updated everyday makeup routine, and I've gotten a lot of requests to do some videos that don't require false lashes. So I'm not going to be wearing any false lashes today. And I think it's so funny because whenever I do like reviews or something where I'm wearing a super minimal makeup look like this, I'll get comments like either on YouTube or Instagram like, what are you wearing on your eyes? Like, can you do a tutorial? And it's like the most easiest, simple look ever. So that's what we're going to be doing. This is like my go-to look, really simple, and I'm going to be using like some holy grail products. So if you guys want to know my current routine, let's get into it. Okay, so I have nothing on my face right now. I haven't moisturized or primed or anything yet. I've been using this moisturizer by Clinique. It's the Moisture Surge Extended Thirst Relief, and I've been using it pretty much every day. It's super lightweight, and it doesn't feel like it's on your face for more than like a couple minutes. It feels like you can put foundation on pretty quickly afterwards. But I've been trying to stick to like the same face products and skincare products for the past few weeks since I figured out what's been going on with my skin, just because I want to have like a consistent skincare routine and foundation routine. Because I've found that when I switch up my products and stuff all the time, it makes me more prone to breakouts. So really love this moisturizer. I'm gonna let it sit for a minute or two. So while I've been trying to get my skin under control, I've found that I really like to use the super lightweight foundations. This one is the Makeup Forever Water Blend. I mentioned this a while back on my channel, but I don't think I've used it very much in tutorials or anything like that. This is literally pretty much just water with a little bit of pigment to it. So it's very lightweight. It does not feel like anything on your face. And I just, like I said, I prefer to use this when my skin is a little out of control because it feels like I'm not really wearing anything. And this is in the shade Y225, by the way. And I do end up using like 4 squirts of this because it's so light coverage. Anyways, I just dipped my little sponge in here and I'm just gonna go around my face and really lightly apply this. So I've already covered my cheeks, my chin, my upper lip, and you can still definitely see everything coming through. But I just mainly like to use this foundation to cancel out some redness and pretty much just even my skin tone as much as possible before I go in with concealer. And when I'm just doing my quick everyday makeup, I like to go in with this Maybelline Instant Age Anti-Age Eraser Eye. I still never know what to call this. There's so many different names. And I just go right in this area right here, a little bit on my nose, and this area where it's a little bit red, and then just blend this out with a sponge. And then for concealers, I like to use my Kat Von D Lock-It Cream Concealers in Whiteout and L7, mix these two. Like I said, I'm trying to stick with the same kind of face products that I've used over the past few months so I don't break out anymore. So this might be a little repetitive, sorry about it, but I just go like this, a little bit down my nose to highlight my forehead, my chin, and then L7, which is basically my skin tone. I'm just gonna go right here in that under eye, and then in between the white, a little bit up here, on the nose, and on the chin. And then just to cover any like random little spots that I have. This isn't the best at covering zits, I don't think. Like, it's pretty good, but I have some that work better, but it's just not super thick, so I like how it feels. It doesn't feel cakey. And this foundation, by the way, is really, I feel like it's pretty hydrating. Like, when I wear it, I don't feel like it's sucking out the moisture in my face, and I do have pretty dry skin, so this feels like it's actually pretty hydrating and keeps my skin looking nice and fresh. So when it comes to setting powders, like on a day-to-day basis, I really don't bake, just because for one, it takes too long, and number 2, I'm just too lazy. So I'll just take whatever powder is within arm's reach. I don't really care, I'm not picky. Today that's going to be the MBM Makeup Academy setting powder. And the brush that I like to use for this is the e.l.f. What is this, blush brush? I don't know, it doesn't have the name on the handle. It's awesome, it's one of my favorite setting brushes. Just gonna tap off the excess and just tap this right under my eye. It's the perfect size to fit right under there. Using a brush to set is just so much quicker than baking. I can just throw it on here wherever I need it and then be done in like 2 seconds. I like to keep this anywhere that like creases or gets oily throughout the day, which is under my eyes, on my chin, laugh lines, and then my forehead, and then we're done. You guys have probably noticed I've been obsessed with the NYX Cosmetics Highlight and Contour palette lately. I love it. It's so good. And I'm going to mix this one and a little bit of this one right here, the warmer one, so I kind of contour and bronze at the same time. Kill two birds with one stone. And I'm just going to apply this right on my cheekbones and blend upwards. I'm basically using this to kind of like carve out my features and add warmth at the same time. Then I'm going to also take this up across my forehead, just really, really quickly blend this up around here so the warmth is equal around all areas of my face. For highlight, I'm going to take this NYX Perfect Match little duo thing, and I'm going to take this highlight right here on this little Frillis Cosmetics brush. I'm just going to really lightly dust this on my cheekbones. For my everyday kind of neutral makeup, I don't like to wear highlighters that are super intense. I really like this one just because it looks like a really, really subtle, just like healthy glow in your skin. And when the highlights are really subtle like this, I also like to take a little bit on my forehead, like on either side, and just really blend it out. And then for blush, I'm going to use this e.l.f. St. Lucia. I don't know how to say that. Lucia. I like to take this light shimmery blush and apply this just right in between the bronzer, kind of on top of the bronzer, and blend it up towards the apple of my cheeks. I like this blush a lot because it's not super pigmented. It just adds like a tiny little touch of pink to your cheeks. I bet you guys know what I'm going to use for my brows. NYX Brow Mascara. This is in the color Chocolate. The quickest, easiest brow product ever. Just running it through really quickly. My brows are so wild lately. I've been trying to grow them out a little bit. Actually, that's just my excuse for being lazy. It's so funny whenever I post like eye photos on Instagram that get reposted by large accounts, there will always be at least one comment under the picture that's like, her brows are so gross, or like, she has shit brows. Come on! I don't have like the Instagram trend brows. That's okay. They don't all have to look like that. It really doesn't bother me. I just think it's funny. Like, people are so picky about eyebrows. Anyways, gonna take my Anastasia Brow Definer. This is in the color Soft Brown, by the way. Or no, just kidding, it's Chocolate. I like this a lot more than the Brow Wiz because I could go through a Brow Wiz in like 3 weeks and I don't want to spend that much money that often on those. And then I just go in with the spoolie and just soften it up a bit because I don't really like super harsh looking brows on myself. Oh, I should tell you guys, I am getting ready right now actually to go out with Quinn and his brother later. He goes to this trivia every week and I've only been there once, but he told us that this week, tonight, it's Harry Potter themed, so I was like, I'm going! And it's also apparently Simpsons themed, which is like, Quinn knows everything about Simpsons, I know everything about Harry Potter, so just saying, we're probably going to be champions. I'm ready for it. Okay, so moving on to the eyes, I'm not going to use a specific primer or anything. When I put on my under eye concealer, I kind of took the excess on my sponge and just wiped it across my eyelids, and that's like my lazy primer. So I'm going to use the Tartelette in Bloom palette because I feel like I haven't used this one in a while, and this is one of my favorite neutral everyday palettes. Modern Renaissance is definitely my favorite, but I feel like I've used that one a few times on my channel and this one hasn't gotten as much camera time. So on a day-to-day basis, when I do this kind of makeup, I only really use like 3 eyeshadows. So I'm going to start with the one that I would typically use as the crease shadow. That would be, which one is this? Smarty Pants, this kind of medium toned brown right here. I'm going to take it on the biggest blending brush that I have, which is the 232 by Smith, because this just gets the job done a lot quicker. I'm just going to start out by blending this into the crease, and I did not apply very much on the brush because I want it to be a really soft brown. And I dip back into it when I need to, but you gotta just start out with a little bit at first and build up if you need a stronger color. And then when I get the crease looking alright, I'll take a little bit on the side of my brush, so I just kind of lay it in like that till you get a good amount of shadow, tap off the excess, and then just sweep that across my lid, all the way across. What are your guys' favorite everyday, like, holy grail eyeshadow palettes? Let me know. I would say, like I said, definitely the Modern Renaissance. This one is my second favorite, but other than that, like, most of my eyeshadow palettes are just like crazy colorful ones. So if you guys have any favorites, let me know what they are. Okay, so when my eyeshadow looks pretty even on both sides and it's all nice and blended out and diffused, I'm going to go in with a slightly darker color, and I'm just going to take this one right here, which is cooler and just like 1 shade darker. And that is the shade Jet Setter, and this is on a slightly smaller brush, which is the Smith 230. And I'm just going to take this and apply it to the outer corner of my lid and just blend it into the crease just slightly, like I'm stopping about 1/3 of the way over. And this might not even look like much on camera, but in person it just adds a little bit of dimension so it doesn't look like just a flat wash of color across the lid. And like I said before, I'm not using like any specific like blending motions or anything, like kind of just alternating between windshield wiper and like circular motions. As long as you just use a light amount of product at first and then build your way up, it'll look good. And then I like to continue these colors underneath my lower lash line too, just the same two that we just used. I'm going to go in with this one right here, and I'm just taking this on this weird little brush I've used in videos before. It's still hanging on. I'm just going to swipe this all the way from the outer corner to the inner corner underneath that lash line and make sure to connect it up here to the top lid. And it's okay if it gets really smoky under here, I kind of actually like that look. And then I'm taking just a tiny amount of Smarty Pants on that same Smith 230 and just blending everything out, like super, super lightly. I know I said I was going to use both of those colors under my lower lash line, but I lied. I'm not going to. So to brighten up that inner corner, I'm going to take Charmer, this almost white matte color, just taking it on a little shading brush and just packing that into the inner corner. And I kind of like to blend it just a tiny bit onto the lid too. Okay, so now we are all done with the eyeshadow. We have the lightest color in the inner corner and blended slightly onto the lid. Also, by the way, if you have kind of close set eyes like I do, this really helps give the illusion that they're a little bit further apart, which I really like, and it makes you look like you're more awake. So I always do that. Then we have the lighter brown on the lid and in the crease, and then a little bit of a darker brown on the inner corner, and that altogether just adds a lot of dimension to your lid without having to use like 6 different eyeshadows. So moving on to mascara, which is probably the most important part of this look since I'm not wearing false lashes. To be honest, I feel like a lot of mascaras work for me because I do already have pretty long, kind of curly lashes, but I've been getting really into lash primers lately, and this is a new one. This is the L'Oreal Voluminous Base. I don't know if it's new, but it's new to me, so that's what I mean by that. I feel like when I use primers and then mascara, my lashes look so much better and just more separated and just nice. So I'm just gonna apply this really quickly. I'm not gonna apply too much because I feel like it can kind of make your lashes a little bit clumpy if you apply a little bit too much. But I apply just enough just to make sure that all of the lashes are coated from root to tip. I'm just gonna let this dry for a second before I put on the mascara. Seriously, my everyday makeup used to be like wearing a full strip of false lashes every day, which, I mean, some of the time I still do that, but lately, so it started with my foundation feeling like it was too heavy and I hated the feeling of it. Now, that's lashes. Like, I hate wearing false lashes for too long, no matter what kind they are. By hour like 3 or so, I just want to rip them off of my face. Anyways, I'm gonna move on to mascara. This is the L'Oreal Voluminous Feline. I got both of these, by the way, in a Beautycon box, and this is in the color Black Noir. I don't think this is waterproof because it's fairly easy to get off, and I really like the wand on this. Anyways, I just go straight in, and I'm not gonna apply too much at first because I feel like that can get clumpy really quickly, especially with a new mascara. I love L'Oreal mascaras. I feel like these are my favorite drugstore mascaras, at least. And I have used this mascara without the primer. It does still make my eyelashes look pretty good, but I do feel like the primer is worth it. Okay, top lash is done. Gonna move on to the lower lashes. I don't use primer for those because I feel like I don't need to. And if you do want to apply a second layer to your upper lashes, now is the time after they've had like a minute or so to dry, but I'm not going to. But what I am going to do is I'm going to take my Endless Silky Eye Pen in Black Noir by Pixi. This is one of my favorite eye pencils to use on the tight line because it's so soft, it does not irritate. And I'm just going to lift my lid like this, look down, and apply that to my tight line. I can't go without lining my tight line because I feel like this really makes my lashes look a lot fuller somehow, like the base of them. And when I'm not wearing falsies, I just feel like I need that extra like thickness to my lashes. So now we're done with everything except for the lips, and this is the part that I like to have fun with when I'm doing like the really neutral everyday makeup, because I feel like I can wear whatever color I want with these neutral eyes. Usually I'll go for like nudes, pinks, the basic colors, but sometimes I'll wear like a slightly purple shade. I have not worn this yet. This is one of the new Makeup Geek Plush Matte Lipsticks. This is in the color Tomboy. Look at how tiny this is. It's so small. Okay, I love this lipstick color. Wow! I am going to do a swatch video on these, by the way. I mentioned them in a recent video and you guys said you wanted to see that. There's also a cream finish to these. There's the matte and then the creams. So I'm gonna do videos on those. All right, you guys, so that is it for my updated everyday kind of neutral makeup look. I hope you guys like this one. Let me know what your favorite everyday items are, like your holy grails, the things that you reach for every single day. These, I feel like this was like a full face almost of those items that like I always reach for. If you guys want to check out the products that I talked about, I will have them linked down below in the description box as usual. Thanks for watching. Let me know what you want to see next, by the way. What tutorials do you guys want to see? I'll give you guys some time to leave some comments on what kinds of looks you want me to do, and then I'll come back and see which ones were said most or which one got the most thumbs up, and then I will come back and do that. Alright guys, I will see you in my next video. Bye!